Okay, what we're looking at here is referred to as a stopcock. It's basically a tap, as you can see. It controls the water flow throughout the water system in your home. So if you wanted, for instance, to change a bath tap, you need to switch off the water, and this is where you would do it, or for any other reason or job for that matter. If you need to switch off the water, here is the main supply. All right, switch that off, and the water will cease flowing around the household system. Now the question obviously arises, what do you do if this unit becomes faulty and needs attention? This being the main control for the water around the house is fine, but now you need to switch off the water before it reaches this point so that you can do some work on it. All right? The water comes in through the pipe down below. Obviously it passes through this tap unit here, and then out through the pipe at the top, and then throughout the rest of the home. So if you need to give this any attention, you'll need to switch off the water before it gets here. And the way you do that is by switching off an outside located valve, which in my case is in my front garden. So we're going to take a look at that right now. So here we are in my front garden, such as it is. The cover beneath which the water supply tap is located can usually be found on the perimeter of a property, and mine, as it happens, is right here, rather conveniently marked as water. Now what I'll do is just take a momentary break and put the camera on the tripod so I can work freely. These lids are not usually too difficult to remove. We'll just pop the screwdriver under here and wait a minute, there's a caterpillar here. Let's rescue the little chap. We don't want him to get hurt. I'll put him over here on the garden area. He can happily munch away on my flowers then. Alright, there we are. That's a happy caterpillar. Let's get this lid off. I'll just maneuver the camera around a little bit so you can get a better view. This is the difficult part about working by yourself. You have no one to work the camera. Anyway, that's okay. Now if you look in there, what you can actually see looks somewhat impenetrable, but in fact it's just a soft padded cover. It's a frost cover designed to keep the cold away, which with this being England, we get quite a lot of cold weather. Now if you look down in there, you can see a blue plastic tap unit. There it is, right there. Now I can easily reach that with my hand to turn it off, which I'll do now. Just turning it clockwise, that's to the right, just 1/4 of a turn. Your system might require a bit more of a turn, but don't force it. They only turn a small way usually. Now with that turned off, I can go back inside and work on the water. Before doing that, I better pop this lid back on to ensure that no one falls down the hole or trips on the lid. This being a communal pathway, now I'll go inside and carry on. Right, here we are in the kitchen in order to check that the water has actually been effectively switched off. The easiest way to check is obviously just to turn on the tap here, the cold water tap incidentally, to see if there is any further water flow. We hope there won't be any water flow, but we need to find out. Remember, when you test this, ensure that you've left your in-house stop tap, the stopcock we're going to be working on, must be left open so that the water would flow through to this point if there were any flaw in the outside tap, which we have hopefully switched off. So let's check now. You'll get a certain amount running through, but then it should stop. Okay, right, that looks good. We'll just let that drain off as much as possible because we want the least amount of water possible still in the pipes for when we work on the stopcock. There we are, that's good. Now let's get back to work again. Now what I've done here is to place a block of wood behind the pipe, bracing it tightly against the wall. And the reason I've done this is because when I place the spanner on here and attempt to turn it in that direction, if this nut is extremely tight, as I anticipate that it will be, the spanner may push the whole unit across, and it could cause a bend and a rupture to the pipes. So having put this block of wood in behind here, it can't really move much, if at all, if the nut should prove to be as tight as I would expect. So let's give it a try and see what happens. Okay, there's plenty of leverage on this tool, so we'll give it our best shot here. Yeah, this is very tight. It's been on there probably ever since the house was built, which is about 50 years. Yeah, I'm supporting it as best I can. Well, I think it's giving way now. It's like, it feels, is it? Yeah. Oh, okay. Now that it's freed, it seems quite loose actually. Let's see if I can move it with my hand. Oh yeah, that's okay. So far, not a drop of water coming out because we emptied it out by running the taps for a while to clear the system. Oh, and a couple of drips coming out, but not much. There we are. Now, this is what we have inside. So let's have a good look at this, shall we? Now, I think I'll take this into an area where there's better lighting than here. As you can see, I have some lighting rigged up here, as you can see from shadows on the wall, but it's not ideal. Let's go elsewhere and take a good look. Right, so what we have here is a tap unit, and here on the end is a rubber washer. This obviously creates the water seal, and there's another washer set into here. Well, look at it. This one should be okay, although I'll put a bit of tape around it to seal it. This washer needs replacing. This is held on by this small nut here on the end. If I can, let's get the spanner. Okay. Bit tighter than I would have thought on this. And the plug comes away separately. I didn't realise that. There we are, separate unit. And let's get a grip on that. Yeah, no, it's a bit awkward. I'll set up my vise and hold that in place. Here we are. Okay, here's my trusty old vise. I don't want to grip it too tightly because the metal isn't very hard, whereas the vise is a very hard metal, so we just hold it lightly and try to unscrew this nut. No, it's not going yet. No. That's more like it. It's coming away now. There we are. There you are. Just a small nut holding it all together. No real problem here. There we are. Okay. All we need to do is replace this rubber. Well, it doesn't actually seem too bad, actually. I'm surprised it was problematic. It probably gotten a little bit hard and brittle over the years, so I'll replace it with a new one, which I'll get from my bottomless pit of bits and pieces. So here we are with our new washer. All I have to do is slip that on there, not difficult at all, and reattach the securing nut, making sure that everything is reasonably tidy. And there we are. Put that on there and tighten it up. Okay, good. Now I'll just place that back in there, and that should now form a perfect water seal. All I have to do is reinstall it. Now before I screw the tap unit back in, I'm going to have a quick check to ensure that it's clean in here. Make sure there's no bits of grit or debris or broken off bits of washer or anything of the kind. Well, it certainly feels alright and nice and clean. Yeah, that's definitely okay. Now I'll reinstall the tap. Before I actually do reinstall the unit, I'm going to put some plumbing tape around the thread. Just wrap this around. It's very thin and flexible. It's really useful stuff, and it's so fine it doesn't interfere with screwing up the thread or anything like that. But it does prevent any potential. I mean, water will leak anywhere, even the slightest little gap, but this will help prevent it. So a few turns around here, we'll be better off. And you can snap that off. Alright, it seems to be okay, and that's nice on there. See how it goes. Okay, let's finally put it back in and tighten it up. Alright, and before I do anything much more, let's check the action on it. Oh yeah, that's better. It feels cleaner and smoother as it turns. Yeah, okay, so I can now tighten up the nut on there, and we'll finally see how it works when it is fully reinstalled nicely. I'll just bring the spanner around here to give it one extra little tightening. Make sure it's secure. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, that's certainly good and tight there. Okay. Being careful not to overdo it with too much leverage, or I could damage something. But yeah, that's just fine. So now, with the tap being fully secured and all tightened up nicely, it's time to go outside in the garden and turn the main water supply back on. And now that we've done all that we needed to do, it's time to turn the water back on again. Although I suspect you could probably work this part out for yourself. Just pop the lid away and reach down and switch the water back on by turning anti-clockwise. There we are. And replace the padded frost cover. And then of course secure the lid. Press it down firmly to ensure a smooth surface, and that is the job done. Okay, one final thing now that we've completed the job and everything is tightened and secured. Let's just check to ensure that the water is flowing through as it should. There we are, we're back in business again. Yeah, you can expect a little bit of that when the water first comes through. That will settle in just a moment. Right, job complete. I hope that this was helpful to you, and thanks for watching.